Hey, what's up, everybody? Man, so I just had a real scare. I was getting really excited to play this, our first Champions League game here against Vaipuna in Samoa, and I'm sorry, they are in Samoa, right? Anyway, doesn't matter either way. They are in Samoa. There you go. And I was about ready to play it when I realized that we didn't have any players registered for this competition, and it wouldn't let me do anything. It was telling me that we had to pick something. Here you go. You can see that we have the same problem that we had before. So if I go over here to quick pick, I can't quick pick anybody because nobody is available for the team. I see. So this is a problem here with the engine. So I've been talking with a couple of people on Discord about this, trying to figure this out. A second ago, I, as a test, went and put the game on holiday mode to see what would happen if I did that. And it allowed the computer manager to use the players that I have for the team, even though they're technically not registered to be on the team. So there's something kind of strange is going on here with the way that this works. So you can see here, nobody is registered for the team. And if I go over to registration, there's no possible way to register because Champions League doesn't show up here. I think the reason for this is because if I go over here to the schedule, we are still in season 2022, even though it's 2023. It's because the new season doesn't start until July. So I really, really suspect that there's some sort of bug that's taking place here in the game itself. However, I will show you the way to get around this issue if you happen to run into it. It's going to take a little while. It was faster than I thought. I go over to home, go to my profile, and just go on holiday. And we're going to go on holiday just a day. What day are we at? We're at the 25th. We're just going to go on holiday to the 26th. And let's go on holiday together and see what happens. So we will let the computer manager play the game for us. I hate to do that to you because I know that part of the joy of the save is actually going through each match one at a time. The other reason why I hate to do this to you is because we apparently won this match when I tried this last time, and I was a little bit upset that I missed all the fun. But it seems that there's no way to get around this bug, at least none that I can think of or I can see. This is another thing to warn you about if you are starting one of these challenges, and if you start doing it from a really, really never heard of it type team, be wary that this sort of problem might take place. I don't think that this is necessarily a problem with the editor data file itself. I really doubt that that's the case. I think that this is a problem rather with sort of the way that the game is constructed as a base product. And you can see we are listed here at the top as fourth, which tells me that we probably lost the match this time around. It doesn't really matter that much to me either way because I figured that we were probably going to lose it one way or another. What is interesting for me to see, though, is whether we're going to have a bunch of grayed out players or not playing for the team. Because that will tell me whether the game has picked up on the fact that there's a bug or not. Anyway, I don't know. It's all absolutely just insane and random to me, and I don't fully understand exactly how the game was programmed in the first place. I will say that I do know that if you're playing with leagues that are in the base game, you're not going to have this type of problem. This is the sort of issue that will happen mostly if you are playing with teams that are just completely made up, or with these editor data file leagues for countries that don't exist as part of the base game. Kind of a frustrating thing, too, to run into because, at least in my case, I spent probably about 4 hours just clicking continue just to get to this point. Might remind you of the video that I put up yesterday saying that, when you're doing this save, you want to get to a professional team as quickly as possible to avoid having all of this crazy downtime and these stupid schedules where you're playing 2 matches a week for 3 months and then you never play again because it really, really starts to wear on you after a while. All right, we need to return from holiday here. I'm not certain why this is taking so long. We'll see here in a second, hopefully exactly how we did. My plan here, if we simply cannot play these games, is to simply holiday my way through the Champions League. I'll tell you as well that if you have any problems in Football Manager with anything, like you can't advance beyond a certain point or there's some sort of stupid bug that you've run into, usually the best way to solve the problem is to just holiday through it. Usually it'll work. Sometimes it doesn't if things are really broken, if you're using a random editor data file that is just not well programmed like we have in the past. You might not have the option to just holiday through everything and see it out. It might freeze on you or break on you no matter what you do. But in this case, hopefully holidaying out will solve the problem. I can't even click on return from holiday here. It won't let me do anything. Here we go. Yes, I do want to return from holiday. I told you to return me on this date anyway. So we lost this match 3-1. And the interesting thing here will be to see the match report and see if any of our players were here. We did have players here. Look, Maile played for us. And when I look at player statistics for PanSa FC, I see the players that I signed. I see that we have the same players that I was planning on having before. So that tells me that we can holiday through this and the game will allow us to play with those players. But because we cannot register the players, there is no actual way to push through. So that's pretty interesting stuff. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get through all of this dumb stuff that really gets in the way. And I've talked about this before. I mean, they really need to fix all of these like chore things that come up for you because this is just stupid. It's stupid to have to do this over and over again, right? It's absolutely pointless. It doesn't really help as much as the game makes you think, and it's not a legitimate or meaningful interaction with any of the in-game players. If you were playing an RPG and you had to do this sort of thing with your players, you would be upset about it and you would give the RPG a poor rating. But because it's Football Manager and because there's really no other game in this genre that has you do this sort of action, this sort of activity, everybody loves it and everybody pre-orders it, and we reward them for their poor behavior. Anyway, there you have it. Our first adventure in the Champions League, as you saw, ended up with a loss. We could go back and watch the highlights and think about how wonderful it would have been to actually watch the match. But unfortunately, we're not able to enjoy the match the way that we really should. And that's kind of a shame. I wish that it were a little bit different, but that's kind of the way this one's going to start out. Hopefully, this isn't going to be something that will be a problem in the long term, but we'll see what happens. I was a little bit worried for a second that the project was going to come to a screeching halt, and then I realized that actually our XG looked pretty good in this match. I don't think we played that poorly. And then I realized that I could probably holiday through the problem area, which is sort of like, I don't know, if you're running a Linux computer or something, people will tell you, try to update everything. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and reboot your system. And usually that will be the trick, the thing that does the trick. Well, here in the Football Manager world, the thing that does the trick is to go on holiday for a couple of days, try to get past the worrisome spot. And if you can do that and then move on, hey, maybe you can keep your thing going and keep it pushing forward into perpetuity. Anyway, as it stands, this is what we're going to do for the time being, and I may end up, I didn't want to do this, but I may end up holidaying through a very large chunk of the season just so that we don't have this ridiculousness again. There you have it. I'll talk with you. I think this afternoon's video will probably be me going through the rest of the Champions League that we unfortunately cannot play in, but it's okay. At least we're there, and that's what counts, and at least our players are actually playing in it, and it's not just a bunch of grayed out players. I mean, the game wouldn't even let me do that. It was giving me just a totally blank team. You saw it yourself. So there you have it. You never know what's going to happen with these videos. If we keep you on your toes, don't we? Talk to you again later on today. Bye-bye.